Danielle, this one's for you, girl. Okay. Model resources that I recommend. I think this is hilarious because for those of you guys who don't know, Danielle's actually in the group program. So anything that I mentioned here, if you don't have access to it already, Danielle, it's probably being added to the university as we speak, right? So things that I think that every model should take part in is first all the free resources from the model university, especially if you're actually serious about making money and not just doing this as a hobby. All the free resources we have at the model university. So shameless plug. One, follow us on social media. I drop clips of these questions there. I drop information tidbits from the industry. I drop master classes that I've done in the past there. Like there's a lot that we just put inside of our social media just for you, right? Two, make sure that you're listening to the Model Made podcast. Okay. There's over 24 hours of model interviews, tips, tricks, things that you can access today and use today. Okay. Free of charge. The next thing, if you haven't already, the 3 top sites for paid model jobs. It's literally a masterclass showing you where you can actually find paid modeling jobs. A thought, right? That's a resource I recommend. All right. This group chat. I recommend it, but you're already here. Other things that I definitely recommend is having a model community. If you're, more of an in-person person, then maybe connect with people who are inside of the group, see who you're nearby, and meet up in person. Having a community, whether online or offline, is super important. Okay, that's a resource that I definitely recommend, which is why I made this group chat. Other resources. There's a couple of different like modeling books. They're more so like the technicality elements. And then there's other modeling books that are just like the lifestyle of models. So Ashley Graham's book about her modeling career, loved it. Listen to the audiobook that she narrated. It was phenomenal. It gave you a different perspective of how she became a supermodel. She started when she was young, doing like catalog work at 12. Like it's such an interesting perspective to see the success and the journey of other models, because that allows you to see that modeling is not a monolith. They don't wake up and just get chosen at a bus stop and made into supermodels overnight. I know that was a thing that was pushed in the 90s, but that's not everybody's path. Okay. And it doesn't have to be your path to be successful if that's what you want to be. Okay. Other resources, there was this book called The Model Bible. That's a good one to have. It's a little outdated. I have it on the bookshelf in the office. It's a little outdated. It was made in like the early 2000s, if I'm not mistaken, but it was a great introduction to just little tidbits about the modeling industry. Some of them, again, it's outdated, so it's not really up to date, but it's still a nice book to have in your arsenal, right? A lot of other modeling podcasts stopped before mine stopped. So it's been like almost a year, right, since the Model Made podcast has dropped an episode. And the other modeling podcasts that were out there had stopped like 2 years ago, right? So I am bringing the Model Made podcast back in January. So if you're in the side of this modeling group, you'll definitely get the notifications for it, of course. But that's the thing. When it comes to modeling resources, a lot of things are, again, unfortunately, behind paywalls, right? And I'm going to walk you through why before we wrap this up. So just like you guys can join this for free and listen to everything I tell you guys and get all the questions answered that you love, take advantage of the classroom, take advantages of the bonuses that you guys earn for being active. You could take all that information and do nothing with it and decide, 2 weeks from now, like, oh, I don't want to be a model anymore, right? So imagine somebody who's giving you like step by step, okay, this is how you start, this is what you're going to do, and then once you do that, you're going to do this, and once you do that, you're going to do this, and once you do that, you're going to do this. Imagine somebody who does that for you, and then you take that information and you do nothing with it, right? It's extremely frustrating. And then to keep it up to date with what's currently happening in the world, right? It takes a lot of effort. It takes a lot of information. It takes a lot of know-how to not only understand what's happening, but to put it in a way that you can understand and then give it to you in a way that you can utilize, right? It's a long process. But coming from somebody who had a model blog where I broke down everything inside of my modeling career for years. I think that blog was live for like 4 years, right? Never had more than 1,000 people like actually like read the blog, let alone read everything on the blog, right? So even when you have these resources for models, that doesn't mean that you're going to implement it. It doesn't mean you're going to use it. It doesn't mean that you're actually going to take the information that's being given to you and act on it, right? So a lot of the remaining resources that are out there are behind people who are coaching, people who are developing, people who are in management, right? Because at that point, if you're going to invest in your career, you're going to do the work to get the return, right? So for me, even though I have all those free resources inside the university that I just told you about at the beginning of this video, there are so many models who will never use it. There are models inside this university. I sent out emails to everybody. There's like almost 3,000 of you guys inside the university. I sent over 3,000, almost 3,000 people an email letting you guys know this is free, letting you guys know this is available, letting you guys know the resources. And how many people are actually inside of this group? So when it comes to actual model resources, I'm always going to recommend the free stuff from the university because it's kept up to date, it's accessible for you. I have control over that, right? When it comes to other people, a lot of the things that you're going to start to see are outdated because people put out this information, they put out these podcasts, they put out these shows, they put out these books, and people don't use them. People use them, and then when they don't know what to do next, they stop and they blame the people who are putting out the information. Like, I've seen behind the curtain for a lot of other people, and it's the reason why all the free stuff outside of the university, very limited, and it gets more out to date as the days go on, right? So as far as free resources, that's what I recommend. Okay. When it comes to paid resources, I'm always going to recommend the university because I have control over that. I cannot speak on another coach. I don't know how other people run their programs, but I built a school, so I'm always going to recommend us. Oh man. So even though, we have a lot of free resources, the only thing that we are now focused on when it comes to any paid investments is really hands-on coaching, because that's what's given everybody the biggest results. That's what's given people the portfolio that they wanted. That's what's given people the digitals they wanted, the network they wanted, the representation that they wanted, the jobs that they wanted, the careers that they wanted. That is what's given the biggest return on investment when it comes to resources. But all the free things, you're more than welcome to still indulge in them. I will be keeping them up to date. I will be making sure that if anything replaces anything that I've told you about, it'll automatically send you over there. Okay, so if for whatever reason I stop doing the three top sites for paid modeling jobs and I replace it with the 5 top sites for paid modeling jobs, the link will be the same. It'll just redirect you to that. Okay, so anytime there's an update, I'll do my best to drop it here, so you guys have access to it. And yeah, if you guys ever want actual hands-on guidance to go from knowing how to actually making it a reality, you know where to find me.